Hey guys, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing? Y'all, I'm just on pins and needles. Okay, I'm trying to make I want the screen to look a certain way. How's everybody doing? Let me get this straight. I feel like that's good. Okay. So, yeah, there's already updates. I've been reading and I was just like, "Oh my god." Good morning. Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'll start from the top. Um, so the okay. Well, let's go from the what's going on at this moment. So there was a note. Um, the mother and the sister just came in. Okay, so Sean Diddy Combs has entered the courtroom. He looked at his family, nodded his head, and flashed them a smile. The mother and the sister came in. Let's start from the bottom to the top. So about an hour and 8 minutes ago. So this is what CNN is posting. Inner City Press. Did they just say something? Let's see. 4 minutes ago, the prosecutors have filled the seats in the front row, in the front table. Sean Combs has still not been brought in. Well, we know, according to CNN, he is back in. Let me just refresh real quick. It's like they have to be refreshed simultaneously. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's day 35, day 3 deliberations. I feel like I read something that they've already passed a note, so it's possible that they could have the verdict. The mother and the sister are in the room. Um, Word given there is a verdict in US v. Combs. Hold on. We'll continue tweeting. So everybody's coming back in the room. There's movement in the courtroom. Combs' other lawyers have returned. There is a word of a jury note, nothing confirmed yet. And then he said 2 minutes later that there is a verdict. The prosecutors have filled the seats at the front table. And then we know CNN. Um, this was what was on CNN. Combs is in the courtroom. Combs' mother and sister are in the courtroom. Um, just in jury and Sean Diddy Combs have reached a verdict. The federal jury has reached a verdict in the racketeering and sex trafficking trial of Sean Diddy Combs, the hip hop mogul accused of operating a criminal enterprise that coerced women into sexual encounters with other men known as freak-offs. Combs, 55, is charged with 5 counts. 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, 2 counts each of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. If found guilty of most serious charges, he could face up to life in prison. Jury sends a note. That was 10 minutes ago. Oh my God. That's what they're saying. Rise and shine. Good morning, everybody. Sean Combs has been brought back into the courtroom by the U.S. Marshals. He is seated with Brian Steele on his left, Terry Genagos on his right, Garagos, excuse me. His family in the second row of the gallery. Good morning, Bougie Gang. How are you? Oh, I forgot. Can someone please let me know when I don't have the chat on the screen? I need a chat monitor, please. Because I have my screen set up in a kind of a weird way. Number one, so I could read, and number two, so it can look a certain way. Can y'all see? Let me see what it looks like on. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, it's not bad. I feel like that looks. It's giving. Okay. Okay. Um. I know. Me too. Good morning, Mocha. Good morning to everybody. Good morning. Is it Shaylin? Shaylin, Love TB, Bossy. I'm Bossy. Okay. Good morning, Leandra. DMV Scorpion. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Patty Patty. Good morning. Yes, they passed a note, and all the kids are back in the courtroom. Good morning, Beverly. Good morning, Tori, the real Empress. Good morning. Good morning. Always a lady. Good morning, Mimi. Good morning, honey. Say that. Okay, honey, say that. Okay, good morning. Let me refresh some more. Um Judge Subramanian, we have received a note at 9:52. It reads, are you guys seeing? Okay, let me move this comment. We've received a note at 9:52. It reads, we have reached a verdict on all counts. Anything to address before we bring the jury out? No, no. Judge, maintain order while the verdict is being read and until we have the jury out. Okay, let's see what CNN is saying. CNN has two updates. I'm so glad. I was getting ready to leave the house, y'all. And Farrah was like, I'm tired. I want more sleep. And I was like, say less. And I just walked up the hallway and came right back in here and sat my behind down. Um, okay. We have reached a verdict on all counts. Judge Subramanian's on the bench. The jury sent the note at 9:52. We have a verdict. Judge cautions everyone in the court to maintain order. The judge cautioned everyone in the courtroom and overflow rooms to maintain order. Okay. Um, I'll ask the deputy to bring the jury in. Sean Combs remains seated. His 8 lawyers are standing up. All rise, my lord. The jury is entering the courtroom. The jury is entering the courtroom. The judge asked the jury foreperson to confirm that the panel has reached a verdict. The foreman confirmed they have reached a unanimous verdict. Okay. Um, I'm refreshing both simultaneously. Okay. We have received your note, juror 1. Juror number 5, have you reached a verdict? We have. Is it unanimous? Juror 5, it is. Please provide the verdict for to the deputy. Uh, Foreperson will now read the verdict. The jury foreperson will now read the verdict. That's on CNN. Hello. Hello. We need. God. Okay. The deputy will inquire as to the verdict. Deputy, in the matter of U.S. versus Combs, count 1, not guilty. Deputy, sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura, not guilty. Transportation of prostitution, guilty. Okay. Um, let's keep going. I guess he's probably trying to type as fast as he can. CNN was like, "Look, once we get the whole thing, we gonna go ahead and just type it out." But someone's just trying to absorb this whole thing. So right now, in the matter of U.S. v. Combs, according to Inner City Press, this is what is on your screen. They said in the matter of U.S. v. Combs, count one, not guilty. Sex trafficking, Cassandra Ventura, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, guilty. Let's see. Jane, sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution of Jane, guilty. So US v. Combs, count one, not guilty. Sex trafficking, Cassandra, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, guilty. Jane, sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, Jane, guilty. I wonder if is that everything? Let's see. This just in, okay. This just in, Sean Diddy Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Sean Diddy Combs is on CNN. Sean Diddy Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty of sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy in a mixed verdict. Combs, 55, was charged with 5 counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts each of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. Oh, okay, let's see. Anything else? Give them a chance to type. Okay. This is the Inner City Press. Let me just screenshot that real quick. Hey boo, good morning. Uh that's it. Let me see if there's another update. So if you're just coming in, and this is so based on the reporter that's in the federal courthouse, Inner City Press, who everyone's been following, amongst others, for the live tweeting. He is report. This is what it has been reported, and it's exactly the same on CNN. Not guilty of racketeering. In the matter of US v. Combs, count one, not guilty. Sex trafficking, Cassandra, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, guilty. Sex trafficking, Jane, not guilty. Transportation for prostitution, Jane, guilty. Okay, and then let's go back to CNN real quick. Just in, Sean Diddy Combs found guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. Sean Diddy Combs found guilty in transportation to engage in prostitution, but not guilty of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy in a mixed verdict. Combs, 55, was charged with 5 counts, 1 count of racketeering conspiracy, and 2 counts each of sex trafficking and transportation to engage in prostitution. So racketeering, not guilty. 2 counts of sex trafficking, not guilty. Transportation to engage in prostitution, both counts. Cassie and Jane Doe, guilty. Gina was shopping the other day, girl. TMZ was like, "Oh hey, okay." Combs found guilty of prostitution charges, but not guilty of most serious counts. Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty by a federal jury on charges of transportation to engage in prostitution, but was acquitted of the most serious charges in the case, featured salacious allegations that he coerced women into sexual encounters with other men called men called sometimes referred to as freak offs. Combs, 55, was charged with 5 counts: 1 count racketeering, conspiracy, 2 counts of sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He was found not guilty on racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. He faces a sentence of up to 10 years. Judge to jurors, the choice to speak about the case is up to you. Judge Arun Subramanian told the jurors that members of the press and others will likely try to speak with them about the case. Now, there is an important reason to respect the privacy of your deliberations, he said. That being said, the choice of whether to speak to others about the case and your personal views is up to you. He told them not to speak about other jurors' views or how the deliberations played out. Like, speak on yourself and your opinions, and keep it cute, I would imagine. Um, that's fair, I feel like. Okay. Let's see what Inner City Press had to say. That was quick. They must have had some good dinners, good rest, and time to think. According to Inner City Press, I asked the media to not question jurors about their deliberations. Jurors, you can contact our chambers. You gave up a lot these 10 weeks. It is inspiring. You work together, rain or shine. You asked, it rained a lot, didn't it? It rained plenty. When the case started, when the gavel hit, baby, it was raining. Um, you worked together, rain or shine. You answered the call of public service. That should give us hope. I need to address a few matters with the lawyer. Then I will come back and meet with you. Jurors all rise to the jury. Jurors exit for the last time. Judge, I'll hear any application then about a sentencing date. Combs, Agnifilo, he should be released. So Agnifilo said to the judge, he should be released. Why not? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna give him a bond at this point, pre-release. Also, if he is going to jail so he can handle some business um before he has to go, like Peter Thomas said, before he has to go sit down. You're gonna go have to go sit down for a minute. So I guess we will see how that goes, right? Um Let's see. I wonder if he can go home. He just asked, so he did like a verbal motion. I mean, he might have to go. They might already have it ready and be filing a motion. They probably like, you know, his team, they have that paperwork ready. So it's possible that they're already filing a motion for his release pre-sentencing, um, considering he wasn't convicted of the most serious charges. Who knows? Let's see what it's saying here on CNN. Judge thanks jurors, tremendous sacrifice. We kind of read that already. Um, let's see. So the jury is now leaving the courtroom. Judge Subramanian thanked the jurors for the tremendous sacrifice over the course of the trial. I want you to know that it was inspiring to all of us. You listened, you worked together, you were here every day, rain or shine. You did so with no reward other than the reward that comes with answering the call of public service. This should give us all hope. The judge said he would meet the jurors to thank them personally for their service. The jury is now exiting the courtroom. Okay. Let's see. They handled that business first thing this morning. See, so it's good sometimes to step away, have dinner, get some sleep, get some distance, have your own thoughts and not have to be around other people and their thoughts. So that was good that they were able to go home and have a minute and then come in and just be ready. Um So, and you girl, he's already got so Agnifilo said, let's see. Agnifilo said he should be released. He is no longer charged with sex trafficking or racketeering. His plane has been chartered. It's in Maui. He does not have access to his plane. This is his first conviction, and it is a prostitution offense. He should be released. Agnifilo also states his family is here and could sign a bond. He should be released today and go back and live at Two Star Island, which is his main address down in Florida. This is just coming up right now. I will hear from the government in a moment. Are you proposing that he just walk outside now? Yes. Why not? I mean, he's been sitting for how long has he been sitting? 9 months, 6, however many. What is it? It's July. He's been sitting for a couple months. So Agnifilo is proposing, yes, he should be able to walk out. Um, shoot. He's gonna have to get a leg monitor. He's gonna have to. They might give him home confinement. I'm sure Comey is gonna be like, no. Okay, here's Comey. Okay, I was already putting words in her mouth, but let's see what she actually said. Okay. Judge, are you proposing $1 million bond now? Agnifilo, yes, and travel to Florida, New York, and LA. The U.S. opposes his release. A person found guilty shall be detained the, until the judicial officer finds that he is not likely to flee or be a danger. Comey also said the defendant faces a maximum sentence of 20 years. Even while faced with this case, he assaulted Jane here in New York, preparing to surrender. He had drugs in his hotel and was ready to commit the same offense. If he could get up there and be like, look, I did a drug treatment program. The last 6 months, I'm clean. I did a drug rehab program. I'm going to take a drug test every day or once a week. I'll take a leg monitor, drug test, and no prostitutes. I will not pass $1. There's gonna have to be some stipulations. Let's see what CNN is saying. Okay, CNN, get on your typing. Okay, CNN is still typing, y'all. They typing. I see you, Sherry. Community P. I mean, he's got 11 children at the house. I'm not going to. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Okay. The defendant faces a maximum 20 years. Okay, we read that here. Okay, we read that one. Okay, Judge, I'm not going to resolve this this second. This is the judge talking. I need to review the statutes. Miss Comey, do you have a case in which bail was denied after a conviction under the Mann Act? You may confer and come back. We plan to be here the whole day. I mean, yeah. He said, bring me some case law. Okay. Well, and also, so she's saying he assaulted Jane, but there's no police reports. Like we know it happened. Make no mistake. But or she testified to it and he did he? I don't look. Alleged, it's we saw what happened to Cassie. All right. So I guess they have the day. But Comey is not trying to come up off of nothing. Okay. She doesn't want nothing. Let's see. All right. She says, I am aware of cases involving minors, but we intend to raise relevant conduct at sentencing, the drugs and violence. I like the letters from each side when in a few hours. Hopefully, while he was incarcerated at MDC, maybe he's done something regarding the drug habit because what I'm saying, like we can assume that he's been clean the whole time at MDC, but if he had some sort of counseling or coaching regarding his drug habit, because people who are into drugs, I mean, even though you're clean, the minute he steps out of MDC and he's left to making his own decisions, he could reactivate a drug habit again. So if he's clean and sober and wants to stay clean and sober, hopefully they've got some information about that he's dedicated to maintaining his sobriety after being sober for 9 months and clean and willing to submit to drug tests. And even like someone said, he could be getting community P. I mean, they can do blood tests. They can do blood tests and validate whether he's taking drugs or not. So and then put him on some sort of leg monitor or something, but who knows? I mean, we'll see what they do. It doesn't seem like the government is letting up too quick to letting him exit MDC. They're probably salty right now that they did not get what they wanted, which, that's how, I mean, they worked hard to get a prosecution and they got 2 out of 5. So it's possible they could be feeling some type of way. So, let's see. Defense attorney says Combs should be released today. Defense attorney Mark Agnifilio says that Sean Diddy Combs should be released on appropriate conditions in light of the fact that Combs has been acquitted of racketeering and sex trafficking. He says Combs would go back to his house in Miami and abide by conditions set by the court. Combs does not have access to his plane and his entire family is here. Agnifilo said any 3 of them, any 5 of them can go sign into a bond. Agnifilo wants him released today. Judge asked, "Is your proposal that we leave that he leave the courtroom and walk outside?" And Agnifilo said, "It is." Um, boom. Um, let me drop the link if anybody wants to call in. Well, being on release though, it's not like he got acquitted and he's going to just go in the wind. if he is on release on bond, there's going to be some pretty strict stipulations. He can be careful all he wants, but he could end up not only getting his bond yanked, but getting new charges. You know what I'm saying? So if he exited the jail and continues to do drugs or order up prostitutes and traffic women, he'll just have another case and he'll be back at MDC. You know what I'm saying? So I mean that's probably just stating the obvious. He would, I would think the last 9 months should have been a wake up call that you need to change your life. Um but you know, if he still wants to continue, then I think he knows that the government is going to be keeping an eye on him probably till the day he dies. And if he were to get out on a bond, that would be the dumbest thing. It's not like there's not women out here that want to be Miss Combs, okay, for free. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said the government opposes the motion. She said that the trial showed evidence of extensive abuse and prolific drug use. If he didn't do a drug program in the last 9 months, I mean, that probably could have helped him. But if he didn't do anything, I don't know if that's going to help him because he has a very pronounced drug habit that could just reactivate in seconds. So I agree with you guys that he would possibly do drugs, but if he has gotten treatment while behind bars, then and has a sober coach, he's going to have to introduce a sober coach, someone who is going to be there holding his hand, which he can afford it. Because you don't hear people at most trials talking about, Your Honor, his jet is not accessible. It's been chartered. He has no access. I mean, I'm sure they can call for a jet, even if it's not his jet. Anyway, okay, let's see. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey said the government opposes the motion. She said that trials showed evidence of extensive abuse and prolific drug use that the defense did not contest. Sean Diddy Combs continued to commit a litany of crimes after he knew he was under investigation. She said Comey argued that Combs does not respect the law and would likely commit new crimes if released. And then he'll have another case. Comey also confirmed the government intends to seek a sentence of incarceration and that Combs still faces up to 20 years in prison for the 2 counts that he was convicted of. I think they're very much giving salty. I do. That's what happened. Okay. Judge says he'll make a decision on Combs' possible release after lawyers submit letters. Judge Arun Subramanian asked the defense attorneys and prosecution to submit letters for their positions and the possibility of releasing Sean Combs. The letters are due by 1 p.m. The judge would make the decision afterwards. Let's see what Inner City Press is saying. Judge, I'm not going to resolve this second. I need to review the statutes. Miss Comey, do you have any case law denied the Mann Act? Okay, she said she did involving minors. We read that one. I think that makes sense. Judge says, I think that makes sense. Mr. Combs does not want to go back to the MDC. He is shaking. Mr. Combs does not want to go back to the MDC. He is shaking his head. So 1 p.m. letters will convene in the afternoon. I'll let the parties know when. Agnifilo, he would be a fool, which he is not, to violate his condition. He would need, or they need to have. This is just my thought, and I did drop the link. So anybody who has a thought, feel free to hit the link. They would need to be calling like the most strict drug rehab place right now So he can actually go, because it's not like he's not going to prison unless Judge Subramanian doesn't give him prison time, which we don't know if that's going to happen or not, or if there's a mandatory minimum. But he needs to probably go check in to some sort of very strict program for even just a couple of weeks, just to make sure that on the outside he's got the tools to not want ecstasy, ketamine, cocaine, like all the things. Um, because he has been, I would imagine he's been clean unless they're giving him drugs in the jail. That's a whole nother problem. But he would need to go check in somewhere because he had a pretty fierce drug habit, and maybe sex addiction. They need to have some sort of plan. Him being at the house and laying by the pool, Maureen Comey is not going with that. They need to pour it on thick. He's going here and he's going to be in intense 21 day, because we don't even know when they're going to sentence him, but say they want to sentence him October 1st. He can, that's what I'm thinking. Depending on when the sentencing is, get him checked in somewhere for drugs and sex addiction. And because, yeah, if they think that he's going to be throwing a white party on Saturday, girl, Homeland Security going to be back over there. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have HSI police back over to the house and run him right to the local, run him to the next jail. Yeah. He needs to go get some treatment, and that would weigh in his favor, because when he goes for sentencing and the judge is like, "Oh, you went to Passages or whatever whatever the star, drug rehab, sex rehab for rich people, right? The wealthy, the 1%. And show up and come to sentencing and he needs a lobotomy. Okay. So some sort of treatment. Bella says surgery. Clinic, whatever the case might be, that would weigh in his favor during sentencing. So let's see. He's going to hurt someone real bad. Don't doubt that he already has. Well, I mean, we saw him drag Cassie. I think he did hurt her real bad. My hubby said the same thing. Folks better have the coins to pay for a legal team or best attorney money can buy. The older men and women on the jury, I knew it was a wrap. I have some opinion. I think the reason why the jury went not guilty on racketeering is, look, okay, I don't have an opinion on that one yet. As far as sex trafficking, Jane and Cassie, transportation for prostitution, yes, because they did order up and he paid for. They probably feel like there was some consent there. Obviously, because they said not guilty. So clearly they weren't convinced that Cassandra nor Jane were sex trafficked because they have a not guilty. In terms of racketeering, again, they weren't convinced. The prostitution, yes. Yes, he needs, if so, we don't know if he did anything while while at MDC already. It's possible. Let's see. Well, if he unalives someone, he's going to be wherever he's at, when and if that were to happen, he's going to be handled. I don't know. I think I mean, they've been safe. Kid Cudi, I think, said Diddy played him, and or did that Cassie played him and Cassie played Diddy. They played them at the same time. Um I feel like Kid Cudi's testimony was mid. I don't know that he should be mad at Kid Cudi. He was mad at Kid Cudi for what, 10 years already? Him coming and saying that Cassie played both of them just probably weighed more in Diddy's favor than it did in the government's favor. Because keep in mind, Kid Cudi, for the racketeering, the arson, the things like that, the racketeering, they voted not guilty. So Kid Cudi's testimony clearly did not hurt him. Okay. Why would Jane, should Jane be scared? Um, they don't, I mean, based on Jane's testimony, all he's getting is prostitution, transportation and prostitution for Jane. He's not getting racketeering and he's not getting sex trafficking. So why would he be mad at Jane? Jane's testimony got him a not guilty verdict. So I don't think he's, you know what I'm saying? Mia? I don't think so. Maybe he'll be mad at Cassie, but I'm sure he's going to be able to ignore, he's already paid Cassie her money for her lawsuit. He and Cassie probably should not be crossing paths. They may say you have to, he may be under house arrest. Like, we don't really know. We're heavily speculating right now, in the land of if he's even granted potentially a bond to be out on the streets while he prepares to go for his sentencing. Let's see. Let's see. I think it makes sense. Mr. Combs does not want to go back to MDC. He's shaking his head. So, okay, so 1 p.m. letters will convene in the afternoon. I'll let the parties know when. Agnifilo, he would be a fool. Okay, we read that. Okay, let's see what's going on CNN. Okay, so this is after the verdict, Combs faced the courtroom gallery and clapped. Okay, he's happy. Before he was led out of the courtroom, out by Marshal, Sean Diddy Combs knelt down in the front of his chair and bowed his head like he was praying. When he stood up, Combs faced the gallery and clapped, prompted by the gallery to clap and cheer. Combs' attorneys all exchanged hugs as the gallery continued to cheer for him. Combs faced his family, his face beaming, and said, "Thank you. Love you, Mom. Love you. I love you. I love you. I love you." His family and friends erupted into applause. Some family members wiped tears from their eyes. After Combs left the courtroom, the family section started chanting "Dream Team" to the lawyers who clapped, who slapped each other on their back and embraced. Defense attorney Terry Genagos hugged up members of Combs' family with tears rolling down her cheeks. Mr. Combs has been given his life by the jury, defense attorneys say to the judge. In discussing a motion to release Sean Diddy Combs from custody on Wednesday, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo told the judge, Arun Subramanian, that Sean Diddy Combs was looking at potentially spending the rest of his life in prison, but he has been acquitted of those charges. Mr. Combs has been given his life by the jury, he said. Agnifilo said Combs would be nothing short of a fool if he violated any conditions set by the court if he was released. He treasures, I assure you, the opportunity that he has been given and will not run a fool of anything this court impresses on him, he said. Cassie Ventura's lawyer, this case proved that change is long overdue. Cassie Ventura paved the way for a jury to find Sean Diddy Combs guilty of some of the counts against him. Her lawyer, Doug Wigdor, said in a statement, "The entire criminal process started when our client, Cassie Ventura, had the courage to file her civil complaint in November of 23. Although the jury did not find Combs guilty of sex trafficking, Cassie, beyond a reasonable doubt, she paved the way for the jury to find him guilty of transportation to engage in prostitution. He continued, by coming forward with her experience, Cassie has left an indelible mark on both the entertainment industry and the fight for justice. Wigder said Ventura exemplary courage throughout this trial and brought attention to the realities of powerful men in our orbit and the misconduct that has persisted for decades without repercussion. This case proved that change is long overdue, and we will continue to fight on behalf of our survivors, he said. Okay. Let's see.
Patients who have sensitive teeth but also want wider teeth.
Hold on. Let's bypass that commercial and wait, hold on a second. Let me update this one. Okay, let's see. Anything else? Makes sense. Okay, so there's no other updates. After the judge leaves the courtroom from the gallery, a loud clapping and cheering as Sean is led back to his holding cell. Okay.
The actual verdict here, and just for the I want to understand, count one was the most serious charge, carrying up to a life sentence. He has been found not guilty of racketeering, conspiracy, RICO, not guilty. He has also been found not guilty of sex trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. She testified for days. We're also learning that he's been found guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution count involving Cassie Ventura. He has been found not guilty of sex trafficking of Jane, who is the girlfriend that he was dating as well, and guilty of the transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, Elizabeth, this is very, very significant. We had an inkling yesterday when there was a hung jury on the initial RICO charge, the most serious, that there might be an actual acquittal there or a hung jury. The prosecution insisted on having it keep going. The defense wanted it to keep going. And now we know they have a result. It is a not guilty verdict. Talk to me more broadly here, because the prosecution acts, people thought it was kind of a low-hanging fruit. He was found guilty of those, but not sex trafficking of Cassie.
This is the best possible outcome for the defense. This is what, of course, they wanted a full acquittal. But if you're not getting a full acquittal, this is what they wanted. Their client is now not facing life in prison. He is facing 2 separate charges that he was convicted on. Serious charges. They each carry a maximum of 10 years. So this isn't nothing that we are talking about. But the most serious charges he has been acquitted on. As Laura said, days of testimony from Cassie Ventura, from Jane, Cassie being on the stand for 4 days, Jane being on the stand for 6 days, these women crying, breaking down on the stand. Well, guess what? The jury did not believe most of their story, or even if they believed most of their story, it did not line up with those charges. So,
and by the way, on that point, let's talk a little bit about that, because there was an inkling for those people who had been in the courtroom, including ourselves, who had been watching the testimony. Remember what they were using as the defense to counter the sex trafficking. It was free will. They were talking about free will, and they were suggesting, while the prosecution said any bait and switch or manipulation to coerce these women by fraud or threat or otherwise to engage in these so-called freak-offs, that force, that cloud of force and threat and violence that had hung over the head of Cassie Ventura was enough to suggest that she never could develop the free will to say no. And when it came to Jane, the idea of manipulating her to travel to places like New York under the pretenses of quality time and shopping, only to then engage in freak-offs, was enough of manipulation. Well, the defense, was very clear. They kept saying free will. These are grown women making grown-up decisions who have a interest in engaging in this behavior. It seems that the jurors, maybe looking at text messages or testimony, agreed with that sentiment.
Okay. Somebody was asking, Rich, you're asking, was your comment deleted? I don't think so. I just bubbled it up. So, I don't think so. Doesn't look like it to me. Looks like it's here. So, let's see. Oh, well, let's see. Yeah, just make sure you're on live chat instead of top chat. And then also sometimes the bots, you know what I mean? But even on YouTube, yeah, even on YouTube, I see it. It's right at, if you have if you have timestamps on your, the chat, it's in the 1048 block. It's right between, it's right over a comment by, another commenter, Bella. So it's in there. Nothing was deleted. We don't spend a lot of time deleting comments around here. If something gets deleted, it's more than likely a bot. It's a YouTube delete. Something like that is, we don't spend a lot of time deleting comments around here. Somebody might not like a comment, but we don't spend a lot of time deleting stuff. Anywho, I feel like that's it, y'all. Let me highlight and see. Let me refresh. Mocha, you're funny. I don't, girl, she's probably over on the encampment side. So it just depends on what media you're watching. Cause you know how some people, they come out the courtroom and they go straight to that little nice courtyard area with all the trees and everything. It's very kind of picturesque down through there. And then there are people who go and sit in the loud area where the people are like screaming, talking loud, debating. um the the mainstream legacy media, baby, they are across the street with tents with lights and fans and stands to hold up their laptops. They you know what I'm saying, I'm trying to see if the reporter that I follow from CBS, JD, has posted anything yet. Let's see. Let's see. This is not her, but this is Emily. Hold on.
Of Cassie Ventura. Not guilty. Not guilty of sex trafficking. Transportation. Guilty.
Okay, that's nothing. Okay, yeah. That's nothing.
Sex trafficking of Jane Doe. Not guilty.
Yeah.
The way Diddy was so happy.
Yeah.
He's coming home. Transportation. Guilty. Holy shit, you guys. People are freaking out in the courtroom. People started screaming. Ah! They were screaming. Ah! Nobody expected this. Nobody. I was ready. I thought he was going away. Well, actually, I said it this morning, but they have reached a verdict. Rico, not guilty. Not guilty on the Rico. The way the courtroom and the overflow went. Ah! Ah! Next count.
She's tripping. She's tripping in the courtyard.
Sex trafficking of Cassie Ventura. Not guilty. Not guilty of sex trafficking. Transportation. Guilty.
Okay, that's nothing. Okay, yeah. That's nothing.
Sex trafficking of Jane Doe. Not guilty.
Yeah.
The way Diddy was so happy.
Yeah.
He's coming home. Transportation. Guilty. Holy shit, you guys. People are freaking out in the courtroom. People started screaming. Ah!
Okay. Let me find the other girl I follow. Hold on. Okay, here we go. She posted.
Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty. So essentially, the jurors found that he was guilty of the Mann Act. That is the transportation to engage in prostitution, but they found him not guilty on sex trafficking, very serious charge there where he could have spent a minimum of 15 years in prison, and not guilty on that racketeering conspiracy, which he could have spent up to life in prison for. Count 1, racketeering conspiracy, not guilty. Count 2, not guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, not guilty. Count 5, guilty. So essentially, the jurors found that he was guilty of the Mann Act. That is the transportation to engage in prostitution, but they found him not guilty on sex trafficking, very serious charge there where he could have spent a minimum of 15 years in prison, and not guilty on that racketeering conspiracy, which he could have spent up to life in prison for. Count 1.
Okay. Let me refresh one more time. But I think we might be done at least till 1. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna come back around 1 o'clock because they said that the letters need to be posted by 1. So 1 o'clock, I'll see you guys for lunchtime. Okay, we'll do some Diddy lunch. We just had some Diddy brunch, or a little Diddy late breakfast. And Sir got 2 out of 3 counts. I mean, he still needs to be concerned because he's going to, like they say, have to go have a seat for a minute. And he needs to get clean. I mean, at the end of the day, he's 55 years old. And the bottom line is the type of drugs that he was doing is going to lead him to an early grave. And if you want to enjoy the fruits of your labor, you got all these kids. The mom is 85 years old. He needs to get clean and get himself together. You know, at the end of the day, the type of drugs that he's doing is not going to do anything but lead him to a heart attack or a stroke and leave somebody else counting all his money. Okay, Dana, any of those women, okay, or the kids, whatever. He wants to live a long life and be able to use all his baby oil and Astroglide, maybe find himself a Mrs. Combs. He needs to go to drug treatment and get himself together, and he's going to have to go sit down for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And that might actually save his life, because on the track that he was going with what he was doing, he would probably be dead before 60. It's quite possible. Cocaine leads to heart attacks. Okay. So even him being a casual user, is not going to help him. So he needs to, this is something that probably helped him save his life at the end of the day. And he'll go to jail and go to prison. He's been in jail. He'll be in prison at a certain point and get his life together for these kids. He's got a little baby who's 3 years old. He's got them girls who are getting ready to go to college. Chance is already in college. And baby, he's got a litany of lawsuits to handle. I mean, he's getting dragged all up and down the criminal and civil courts. So he's got plenty to handle, and ecstasy, ketamine, and all of the things is not going to help him get through any of that. And also people know all of your nasty secrets in business. I mean, he should want to get himself together. It was absolutely a gross and disgusting display over the past, few weeks. But that being said, he's got all the opportunity to get himself back together. He needs to come out the corner. Really? He's a voyeur. Okay. You know what he needs to do? He needs to find himself a very freaky lady and make her Mrs. Combs. He can't deal with these single girls anymore. Single women and cutting allowance checks and clothing allowances and all of the friend contracts got him where he's been at for the last 9 months. He needs to get himself together and find himself a Mrs. Combs who wants to just be as freaky as he wants to be. But as far as the single girls and fluing people in and flued people out and cruise them in and cruise them out, is sex trafficking. Well, it's prostitution, especially if you bring someone else in who might have a escort page. Okay, so he might need to hang up his bachelor hat and handle his business like a mature man of 55 years old. So some of these single guys, Sean, what's his name? Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to play around with all these young girls and play around and do all the things, baby. They got a place for you over there at the MDC. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys at 1, okay? And we'll read the bail letters, or we'll see what's going on, start reading the tweets and everything, and see what's really going on. Okay. All right, you guys, take care. Have a good morning. Hit thumbs up for me if you're on the replay. And I'll talk to you guys a little bit later. Okay. I love you too. I love all of you guys. You guys are amazing. This was fun. Wasn't it just so, like, I was just like, okay, girl, perfect. Absolute perfect timing, period. Okay. Perfect timing. We got on here and baby, it was showtime. All right. Anyway, guys, love you, mean it. I'll see you guys a little bit later. I did drop a video earlier on some more information that came out about Jarvis Butts. And I might have some more a little bit later for you guys. So just stay tuned for that if you're following that story. Anyway, I'll see you guys at 1. Bye, guys.